Have you ever watched a puzzle master swap crosswords for crime scenes, all while pretending to be his own twin brother? Well, me neither. Welcome to Ludwig, BritBox's new, wonderfully quirky, cozy mystery. So put a kettle on, and we're going to talk Ludwig. There are 6 episodes in season 1, each about an hour long, so you can easily binge the series on a weekend if you want. Or what the hell, go crazy and binge it all in one day. That's what I did. Here's what the show is all about. You have John Taylor as a recluse puzzle maker. He is short on social skills, but long on smarts. In fact, he possesses a genius level IQ. One of the things we like in our sleuthers, right? He is happy in his quiet life as a famous, socially awkward, reclusive puzzle maker, Ludwig. Well, that is until his identical twin brother James, a seasoned detective, mysteriously disappears. That's when the fun begins. His brother's wife Lucy hatches this plan. John will simply come on over, step into his brother's shoes, casually walk into James's office unnoticed, get the folders of what he's been working on so she can figure out what happened to her husband, and then just walk out. Easy peasy. I mean, they totally look identical, so what could go wrong? Well, before he can even get to James's desk, he's pulled off into a murder investigation. And to make the show more fun, James left some cryptic clues on what happened to him with a warning not to trust anyone at the police station. And there you go. That's the basic premise of Ludwig. Each episode, John simply just wants to investigate his brother's disappearance. But instead, he keeps getting pulled into some scene and some crazy murder case. And you know what? Turns out he's actually pretty good at this detective thing. This is good stuff. So, what's the big draw here? David Mitchell. You probably know him from his groundbreaking Peep Show, maybe hosting Would I Lie to You, or generally just being so damn funny. He once made Olivia Colman pee herself during a stage production. He is spectacular in this role. He expertly walks the fine line between being quirky, funny, and interesting, rather than falling into the trap of being slapstick, gratuitous, and annoying like John Chappell from BritBox's other new mystery, Death Valley. I'll be reviewing that one soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and have those notifications turned on. Alright, enough shameless plugs, let's get back to Ludwig. At first, John's basically a deer in headlights. I mean, the man's never held a police badge in his life, much less solve a murder. But here's the thing, his brain is wired for puzzles. Crosswords, ciphers, patterns, the kind of thinking that also makes him a surprisingly effective detective. And from what I can gather, he's actually better than his brother, who's the real detective, since he just solves case after case after case. Then there's Anna Maxwell Martin as Lucy, James's wife and John's sister-in-law, and his partner in chaos. She is amazing. If you've ever seen her in Line of Duty, Motherland, you know she can do deadpan sarcasm and make it feel like a warm hug. She's also starring in A Spy Among Friends. Let me know in the comments if you want me to review that one as well, because she is spectacular in that too. Here, she starts out as the glue holding the whole mad plan together until she becomes the root cause of the shenanigans. She's smart, she's resourceful, and absolutely determined to find her husband James. But also, there's this unspoken thing between her and John. It's subtle. It's complicated. It's the kind of chemistry that has you screaming, no, absolutely not. But then a tiny part of you is thinking, but maybe. Their banter, their teamwork, their effortless chemistry, it's one of the show's most interesting threads. And it's handled with enough restraint that it never feels cheap, soapy, or distracting. Of course, John and Lucy aren't the only ones carrying the show. The station is full of personalities. You've got D.I. Carter, who's James John's, I don't know what we want to call him, his partner. He's sharp, but he's suspicious. and we don't quite trust them. There's the junior officers D.S. Finch and D.C. Evans who play off each other, battling for who gets to cuff the bad guy, and we don't quite trust them. Plus, I love Dorothy Atkinson in everything that she does, so it's great to see her as DCS Shaw, the boss not easily impressed, but we don't quite trust her. Then Ralph Inesso as Chief Constable Ziegler pops up, and he's that guy where you're like, oh, I know him from that show. Can't tell you what exactly it is, but you will recognize him. And he definitely seems shady as hell. You like all of these characters, but at the same time, you're constantly thinking, I don't quite trust them. Plus, scattered throughout the season are cameos. They just pop up like Easter eggs. You have An Idiot Abroad's Carl Pilkington. Then, Derek Jacobi, one of England's most lauded actors, adds gravitas to the 5th episode. And Rosemary and Time's Felicity Kendall proves she doesn't always have to be the one solving the crimes, but sometimes, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to watch to find out. The show is a combination of crazy, charming, and of course, fun sleuthing. Tone-wise, I'd say Ludwig sits in an interesting spot. It's got the brain of Jonathan Creek, the awkward protagonist of Monk, and the coziness of Crossword mysteries. But it isn't a series that focuses on location the way like maybe Midsummer Murders or Agatha Raisin does, which is either refreshing or missed opportunity depending on what your personal preference is for cozies. For me, I loved it. Didn't need it. This movie, while it's set in Oxford, honestly, it could be anywhere. The season is a balance between a fresh case every episode that John solves with surprising ease and the bigger mystery of what happened to James. You get pretty good mysteries and odd scenarios, interesting suspects, and as the season goes on, John gets more and more comfortable in his role as a detective, but also with Lucy. There are twists and turns that keep you engaged throughout, plenty of humor, and of course, interesting murders to solve. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but let's just say the last 20 minutes of the last episode are a masterclass in prepping a second season. You don't feel cheated that you watched a whole season that was essentially nothing more than a setup for a second season, kind of like when I watched Outrageous. But rather, you're left feeling excited that season 2, it just can't come quickly enough. So here's why I think Ludwig works. The leads, as I said, they are both fantastic. David Mitchell's delivery, his brand of sharp, awkward comedy slides perfectly into this reluctant sleuther role. And Anna Maxwell Martin, she is a pure delight. The chemistry between the two of them is magnificent. Weekly mysteries plus the big arc, it keeps you engaged on two fronts. You've got, these mysteries that are fresh, interesting, kind of weird, but they're also not the hardest to figure out, but they're fun and unique. I really like that John's puzzle-making's background is actually paramount to him solving each mystery. Too often we get a character that has this interesting background or skill, and it never really comes into play. Then there's the supporting cast. These aren't just background players. Even the cameos have impact. The humor is just enough to keep it light without undercutting the drama. But here's where I got a little stuck. How on earth did none of his coworkers notice the dramatic personality change when John steps into his brother's shoes? I mean, all of a sudden, here he is, the socially awkward guy who's solving cases in a strange and unique manner that was totally different. And yet no one thought it was a touch weird. Also, while I usually like the shorter mysteries, in this case, the 57-minute runtime, it just doesn't quite seem long enough to tell the two parallel stories. I think it would have worked better in a 1 hour and 24-minute format. The extra space could have let them dig deeper into the big mystery of James's disappearance, which at times it felt a little glossed over, to be honest. And the weekly cases could have been a little trickier to solve, some more red herrings tossed in, maybe some wrong turns. I think that would have improved it as well. Right now, both aspects are good, but with a little more breathing room, I think they both could have been great. Alright, I've seen a lot of chatter about Ludwig online. Fans are basically calling it Monk meets Sherlock, and honestly, that's not far off. Cozy mystery lovers are eating this up because it feels fresh without throwing away the rule book for what we all love in a cozy. And if you're wondering about season 2, don't worry, it is already confirmed. Production is likely to start later this year, so we can all expect more quirky cases before you know it. And we'll hopefully get more whatever the heck this is going on between John and Lucy. And I hope we get a deeper dive into some of the backgrounds of the police force, because after all, somebody's just gotta be shady. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 on the cozy meter. It's smarter than Death Valley, funnier than Death in Paradise, and more charming than Vera. Though, don't come for me, Vera fans. There's always season 1 that holds that whole series back. So, here's my take. If you're a cozy mystery fan who wants something that's clever without being grim, Ludwig is the best thing on BritBox right now. If you've already seen it, I want to know, what did you think? Am I overselling it, or am I right on? I'm off to solve Wordle and pretend like I'm doing place work. Until then, happy sleuthing.